So I want to talk to you for a minute about my past, and we'll come into family and things that matter to me. I'm the third child of four. My parents were, I think we were in the middle class, but probably not very far when I was growing up. They were wonderful people. My mother was a school teacher. My dad was in the insurance business. When I was 12 years old, my parents told me it's time for you to start paying your own way now, so you need to get work and pay for your own clothes and your own social activities and so on. And so I handed out flyers in the neighborhood and started mowing lawns for, in those days, $3 a lawn. And I would shovel walks in the winter. I'd babysit. I'd weed gardens. I would figure out anything I could do to scramble up a few bucks to go towards the things that I wanted to have or be able to do. Now, I never felt resentful in any fashion. It seemed like learning how to work hard was part of life and a good part of life. At 15, my mother told me, "You're old enough now to get a job," so she took me out and made me go on and apply for jobs. And she'd pull up in front of a business establishment, usually a restaurant or a grocery store, and say, "Go in and ask for the manager and tell him you'd like to apply for a job." Well, if it was a grocery store, those were like, to me, really big financial entities, and the store manager was like, I don't know, as high a position as there was that I could imagine. And I was this scared to death 15-year-old faced with walking into the local grocery store or one of the local grocery stores and asking for the manager and then saying, "Do you have any jobs and could I apply for a job?" And my mother taught me a mantra that I've remembered throughout my life. As I sat in the car, I couldn't drive as a 15-year-old, as I sat in the car nervous about going in to talk to this store manager, she would say to me, "Remember, the worst thing he can say to you is no." Well, I heard no a lot. I went to lots of businesses and heard no a lot. My first job, the first job where I got to a yes, I was a dishwasher. And I sat in the kitchen of a restaurant and washed dish after dish after dish for hours as turnover happened with customers in the restaurant. I was 15 years old. I made $1.45 an hour. My next job was a big step up. I became a bagger at Safeway and followed that same process. Go ask if they're hiring, get a job. I bagged groceries. In those days, the bagger always took your clothes to the car, or your groceries to the car. I'll bet most of you have never had a bagger take your groceries to the car. That was standard. We'd bag the groceries, take them to the car, put them in the car, thank them for the business, go back inside. I've never had a time in my life where I didn't have a job. I went to college, paid my own way through college, tuition, books, everything. Got married while I was still in college. We'll talk about that in a minute. And finished college, working and paying for tuition. And my wife and I had our first child the week after I graduated from college. Work has been an important part of my life, and I really can't imagine life not working. I think work is a wonderful, beneficial, productive thing for anybody. And you've heard me, if you've listened to many of these videos, talk about good jobs and the creation of good jobs. It's great to have a job. It's great to give your best to that job. It's great to work for an employer who cares about you and appreciates what you do. It's great to learn through that work experience how to communicate with others, how to work with others, and how to work in those kind of social environments.